Hey guys, this is Amal from TechLeatherCraft. I thought I would do a live stream. This is actually my first time doing a live stream. So if I mess up something, I apologize ahead of time. And I'm probably gonna be looking down at my camera a lot. So that's something to think about. And I'm in my shop, but my wife and kid could interrupt me at any point. But I thought I'd take a moment to do a live stream, talk about some stuff I'm working on, but also just take a moment to talk about the new Samsung folding phone. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about it, and so I thought I would take a moment to talk about that. But first, one thing I would mention, I'll do a little plug for me, is I do have my slim wallets on sale on my website. They're about $36, so about 10% off. If you are a subscriber to my newsletter, you can actually see that you can actually get 10% off on top of that, so like $32 or something. So if you're interested, you can go check them out, the Horween Chrome XL stuff. So of course you're gonna have the black, and you can choose your stitching and all that. One thing I will talk about, I've been playing with, you guys know I'm into like EDC stuff. So what I was working on was finding a way to carry my pen. And so this is the Fisher Space Pen, the standard one, And so the idea is, and what I did was I added a little elastic down here. So that's the normal one, that's the standard one. And so the idea is, depending on how you want to do it, you can just slip the pen in, and you always have it with you is the idea. And so I'm kind of playing around with it. I actually have to test it out to make sure like the clip placement is right, and that it goes snug, and it's not like sticking out anything weird or anything. So I think this is the right placement, because then the clip snugs in right there, right, and then it won't push further down. But then it's still not like sticking out weird or anything. So that's just something I'm experimenting with. I like to test out my products, before I announce them. So but if you're interested, stay tuned to my YouTube or my Instagram, because I will announce that stuff when I add that to the website. One thing I did do a video on was that hack, and of course I don't have my wallet with me right now, but it's the hack where you can add a money clip to the back side of this, and I've been actually using that, and it's a super nice function, like when I need to go and deposit money in the bank. And I usually carry cash in here, and it holds a fair amount. But like if I have done a show or a craft show, I have a bunch of cash. The money clip comes in nice, because I can actually clip on a nice, fat stack of cash, even half. And so then it's just one of those things. So anyway, guys, so if anyone is interested, you can always just let me know about the elastic stuff, or if you're interested in the money clip, I did add those to my website, so you can buy the money clip separately. I'll probably add them as a drop-down menu onto my website. So as you're picking the color and the stitching of the leather, I'll add an option to add a money clip. But right now it's listed separately, so just keep that in mind. The other thing I've been playing around with is doing laser etching. I feel like it's kind of cheating. I don't know if it's cheating, but usually when I stamp something, this is my hat, and so usually when I stamp it, you stamp it with a regular like leather stamp, and like tool, when you tool leather, and so lasers are kind of, I have mixed feelings about it. So I was playing around with a cheap one, and so like this is like a belt buckle I made, and it came out pretty good. I mean, the little laser I was playing with was like a $90 Chinese laser, and it's not a super complex design, but I like these. And so I've been like little keychains, whatever. And I actually don't have any wallets, because they actually sold, but I did do some wallets. So on these wallets, I did engrave like the Trescal, or like a cross, or I even did like a skull type thing, and those have actually sold. So people seem to like them. These are just some leftovers I have. So I feel like I should probably keep doing the laser thing. I just have mixed feelings about it, that's all. And so I don't know if I'll actually invest in a higher end one, or stick with a cheap one, because it does, like I said, it feels a little bit like cheating. I don't know. We will see. The other thing I wanted to talk about was also the hat patch I just showed earlier. I'm working on, well, first I'm working on finding some hats that I like. This one is super floppy. I'm not a huge fan. I like kind of structured hats. And so, and its placement, like this is just the off the side type placement. Of course, the main placement would be something up front here. And then I suppose like doing something like on the edge or something. So I don't know, I'm experimenting with those things. Like, it'd be cool to do like a tan patch, a little, a laser etch thing on it too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is the Samsung announcement. I'm moving off leather to tech. So the other thing I want to talk about was the Samsung announcement. There's been a lot of hate. I've seen that. Hey, what's up, David? All right, let me see. I'm totally new to this chat thing, so if I mess it up, let me know. David asked, how do you avoid ashing from laser etching? You have to use, it's a special film. It's like a white vinyl tape thing. And so what you do is you cover it up, and so when you laser etch, it actually ends up with this kind of white, looks like masking tape, really. I mean, I suppose it is a fancy version of masking tape. And so you cover that up, you laser etch it, and then what I do, and this probably depends on your laser a little bit. You get like a cloth and buff it with the tape on. So then all the ashing and stuff will smear on the actual tape. And then when you feel like you've gotten a good amount of that ash off, you can just peel the tape off, and hopefully it ends up nice and clean. I mean, you might have to go in with a Q-tip and clean it up. So yeah. Anyway, that's one way to do it. I'm sure there's other ways. It's just not something that's the advice I had gotten from a couple other people who do laser etching. So one thing I will mention, guys, is there is a delay. So I'm watching 2 feeds of myself, one in the Hangouts and then one in the YouTube area. And I noticed that there's a good 5 to 10 second delay. So yeah. Anyway, my Echo was talking to me. I'm in the shop right now. So if anyone is interested, I tried to set up a nice background in the back because the shop is a little rough. I do have my umbrella. You probably can't see it. My lighting umbrella. So when I do product photography, I shoot down onto this wood grain thing. So yeah. So anyway, hopefully that answered your question. Cool. Yeah. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. Yeah, the laser thing is fun. The thing is, when you do a stamp like this, right? When I got my stamp made, like I got a brass stamp made, so it's durable. And you can also get this white plastic stamps made, like if you're doing a short run. But the thing is, you have to pay for that. And so like this isn't a huge amount. The brass stamp was probably $80. And the plastic stamps kind of vary. They're like $40 to $80 depending on the size you get. And so when I've had companies ask me, or like someone asked me for a specific logo they want stamped, the other thing is, stamping only works on tooling leather. So before it's finished, you can only stamp on that. You can't stamp into like Horween leather. And so with the laser, you can laser etch into vegetan leather, or you can, laser engrave into basically any chrome tanned leather, any Horween leather. And so it really allows for for some flexibility on what you're doing with the leather. So it's just a nice function. Let me get into the the Samsung thing, if that's okay with you guys. There's been a lot of hate on the folding display. Now, I'll to be honest, I had commented on, and there was a YouTube I was watching, and if you notice the Samsung announcement before the actual event, they did say they'll have renders and something else. It was something very vague, and my takeaway was, oh, they're not going to actually have the phone. And so they did have the phone, but that whole in the dark flippy open thing, that I think that annoyed a lot of people. I think it cast a lot of doubt. I think they should have just showed the phone with the understanding that it was going to be, it was going to be a prototype and they're still working on it, and maybe they have that covering on it or whatever. And so one thing I'll talk about though is, as a leather crafter, and if you guys sell leather, so many times I'm at a craft show and I have my phone and I have a Square reader, or I'll use Square now has a Bluetooth version of this too, but people will sign on my phone, and talking about folding phones, like what the purpose is, and I could come up with a ton of uses that I would have for that. And so I was really surprised by the amount of people who are saying that there's no purpose to it, or like, what would you use it for? To me, that really, like, it depends what you're doing. I guess if you're sitting at a desk and you work an office job, like, I can completely see not needing anything out of the ordinary other than a phone. And it's the same argument people use for like smartwatches. And I love my smartwatch. I wear, if I'm at home, I have my cheapo depot one. This is the Samsung Gear Neo 2 something. I don't know, it's like 5-10 years old, whenever they announced it. And so, because I'm always doing something with my hands, I have kids, and so it's super nice to be able to see it on your wrist. And so it's the same argument people use for smartwatches. Like, well, what do you need a smartwatch for? It's useless. And so the same thing comes in with folding phones. I feel like if you really wanted to, you could you could find uses for it. One thing I do with my videos is I shoot. This is a Panasonic G7, so I shoot down, and I like to flip up the screen for that. But if I'm wanting to record a video like this where it's looking at me, one of the cool functions is on your phone, Panasonic makes the Smart app. And so what you can do is you can have your camera out, wherever, and you can touch to focus on the screen. And so that's super handy. You can also see what's in focus, like if your face is actually in focus. And so, I was just thinking, like, if you're doing something like that, it'd be super cool to just like flip it open and touch to focus. And if you're doing like a group shot, a family shot, where you're actually in the shot, you can like look and see if everyone's face is in focus and stuff like that. And I get it. You can do it on this phone too, but having a larger screen for something like that. One of my favorite YouTubers, Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy. He's actually not a huge fan of the folding phone. He's mentioned some stuff about it. But one of the cool things he did is last CES, he took something like the LG G7, or was it the V30? He took one of the smartphones and he made a point of basically recording all of his CES experience on the phone, and then editing using a CyberLink Power Director, editing and exporting everything to YouTube, doing the edits, doing the tiles. And he talked about, that experience on that phone. And his point was that it's really easy to do something like that on the phone now, but it's not ideal. And as I've heard him talk about folding phones, one of the things that comes up for me is like, that would have been so much easier to do video editing or photography editing. Adobe has released Adobe Lightroom, but to do photo editing on your phone, if it was larger, or to do video editing, it would be such a cool way to handle it. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll see how it comes out. Part of me is worried that Samsung is going to mess it up with some dumb thing, and so we'll end up seeing how that plays out. I'm worried that the price point is going to be super high, and so like I think the rumored price point was $2,000. Now their Note 9 and the 500 gigabyte model is about $1,200. I think that's the most expensive phone they've released, and so having a $2,000 phone, I can completely see it turning people off. And some people may get it, and if the people who get it know how to implement it well, then it may turn out to be a really good device. I don't know if it's folding phones of the future, the future of phones, but I think it's worth playing around with a new form factor. I get it's not for everyone. I completely get that, but I do think there's a lot of unnecessary hate. There's a lot of people who bashing on Apple, and they're like, "Oh, Apple's in trouble now." I don't necessarily agree with that either. I prefer Samsung phones, but let's not get it twisted. Apple has handled their marketing super well. They know what people want, that their group want, and so yeah, I don't think Apple is in trouble with a folding phone at all. So that's just my point on it. I do think it can have uses, maybe not for everyone, but if you watch Netflix, there's so many times, guys, I watch YouTube on this, right? I'll be working on leather in my shop, um, and I'm not always looking at the screen, but sometimes I will. But I'll be watching some product review or some podcast or something like that, a live stream on my phone. I'll comment on it, but I have it like just set up and propped kind of away from the table because I'm banging or I'm dyeing leather, so I don't want it to get dye on it or whatever. But to have something like, if I'm watching something and something comes up or something, hey, I really want to see that in detail, the ability to fold out your phone, I think would be awesome. All right, guys, so I just wanted to do a quick live stream and a quick test. I don't know. Hopefully all this comes through. We'll see. I want to give you guys my thoughts, stuff I'm working on. If you're interested in checking out the wallets, they are on my website. Once again, I'm doing this elastic thing for like the EDC group. I wonder if I could do one for a flashlight. But anyway, yeah, either for a flashlight or a Fisher Space pen. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I don't know how many people are in the live stream. Is there a way to tell? Looks like there's about 4 people in the live stream. So if you guys have any questions like David Lopez did, let me know. And I can answer that for you guys. Really, that's all I wanted to talk about was the laser stuff. I was working on hats. If you guys have a good source, a place to get hats, let me know. Like I said, I don't necessarily like this crumply stuff. I prefer something that was had a little bit more form to it. The formed hats that you can buy. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna call that. It is 8 o'clock. I have to go check with my wife to make sure I can put the baby down and all that stuff. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in TechLeatherCraft and EDC and multi-tool stuff, subscribe to the channel. I really want to have more live feeds. Maybe even have, I've talked with a couple of people about having them come on to be guests, to talk. And so I'm still playing around with that idea. I really want, my channel is about tech and leather and EDC. So I can see how that would be a struggle, right? So if someone's here only for the leather stuff and you're not interested in tech or EDC, I could see like not being interested in that kind of stuff. And so maybe I'll do 2 separate live streams, like a leather DIY live stream and then like a tech live stream. I don't know. I guess we'll see what the feedback is on this video. But I do want to do more live streams and engage with you guys. Like, I appreciate David asking the question. David, if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email. It's techleathercraft@gmail.com. And so, yeah, if you guys have any questions about that stuff, I love teaching about leather. I'm actually going to be doing some leather workshops around my area for Christmas or even after Christmas. So we'll see. They're just basic beginning leather classes, which might be cool. I like teaching. I like talking about leather. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you're interested in getting stuff, be sure to check out my website. Follow me on Instagram too. I've noticed for a lot of the stuff that to me doesn't feel very big. It's like, hey, this is really small. It doesn't warrant a video. Hey, Nadia, how you doing? Cool stuff. Looking forward to more videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice. Yeah, I definitely need to work on more videos. This is a super busy season when you're doing leather. It's a super busy season because I'm doing a lot of shows and I'm also getting stuff orders through my website. And so I'm in the middle of making stuff for the orders to ship out, and I'm making stuff for the shows that have coming up. And so when I work with leather, I do, it's called like the lean startup. It's a lean idea where I don't build extra inventory, right? I like to keep my hides intact until I know what I'm going to use it for. It's kind of one of those things that, you know, especially Horween leather. Horween leather is super expensive. So, you know, I usually order, let's say 2-3 hides. And so for me, I'd rather keep it all intact. And you know, I'll have a little buffer, like 5 wallets ahead of time or something. Or if there's a show coming up, I'll make more. But in general, I find that it's always safer to keep your hide intact, cut out wallets or journal covers or whatever in smaller batches. And then as orders come in or as you have craft shows coming up, it's better to than make stuff from that. Because what could happen is someone could have custom ordered something, and if you have all your wallets cut out to this standard size, you know, and someone's like, hey, I really want it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter or something, you know, then your leather's done. Like no, this is the only size that's available. And so I like to have the option to customize stuff. And so, yeah. Cool, David. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna take off. It's 8 p.m. here in California, so I appreciate it. If you have any more questions, be sure to email me. And then what I will do is I should probably have like a set time for a live streaming. I'll probably do that maybe Thursdays. I'll have to check with my wife. Luckily, I had today. I had some free time today. All right, guys. So David and Nadia, thank you so much for watching and commenting. I really appreciate you guys mentioning that in the comments. And I will talk to you guys later.